his first go-round in the purple and gold. The Athletic ranked NBA players in tiers. Russ landed in the 5th and lowest tier for this season after finishing in the 3rd tier a year ago. Shannon, interesting. Do you agree with that?
Damn. They couldn't at least put him in the 4th tier, Skip. They had to put him in the bottom. They put the man in the bottom of the barrel. They put the man in a category with Kuzma.
That is correct.
And some of the guys, look, at this point of his career, even at the height of his powers, with Kevin Durant, he couldn't lead a team to a championship. He's not that same athletic player anymore. So it would be foolish to think that he can lead you to a championship when he's not the player that he once was. Now, okay, he's with the Lakers, LeBron and AD. How do you get him to conform to says, okay, Russ, we don't need you to be this. Can you be that? So in other words, what they're telling me, Skip, is that he's a guy, he can be a small piece, a very small piece to a championship winning team. Not a major contributor. Skip, that's a long way to fall in a year. And then the region said he was in the 3rd tier last year. Now he's all the way in the 5th tier. And I hear all these players, man, y'all devaluing Russ. That man top 75, yada, yada, yada. I ain't heard one player say, let me have it. Mm-mm. I remember when people was talking about Dame Lillard and LeBron said, oh, y'all think Dame like that? Let me get him. Put it with me, let me get him. All these players that say y'all foolish for saying Russell Westbrook is this, and this. Not one that says I want him on my team. Not one. And I've heard some great players speak glowingly about him. But not one has spoke glowingly enough to say I'll take him. Skip, he's inefficient. He's turnover prone. And I don't know if the hustle, and I want to take that, you give him this. He plays hard, but he plays out of control. And those two don't go together because I want you to play hard, but I want you to play smart. And I want you to do things the right way. So for me, Skip, $47 million, what he's making, Skip, that guy needs to be a top 10 player. If you look at the guys that's making that kind of money, now, and I'm not talking about, obviously Zach LaVine, and I don't think Zach LaVine, but I think Zach LaVine is a better player than Russell Westbrook. Man, this man is 85 to 125. I mean, they're 400 players, Skip. It's not like he's in the 300 to 400 category. He's 85 to 125. And they put him in a category with P.J. Tucker, Jay Crowder, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Reggie Jackson, Pat Bell, Lou Dort, Norman Powell. Two guys that he was traded for, KCP and Kuzma, also in that tier. Wow. Skip, I hate to say it, Skip, but they might be right.
They are, unfortunately for you, extremely right. This is why Russell Westbrook has become untradeable for your Lakers. He has become, and this just validates the fact, he is the single most overpaid player in the history of basketball. And I don't know how you can deny that.
No.
Show me, because nobody is going to make $47 million and ever plunge all the way down into the 5th tier and the bottom tier of being ranked. It just doesn't go together. So congratulations, Russ. You pulled off an all-time historical feat. You were the most overpaid player in the history of your league.
Let me ask you a question. And everybody said, so if I were to take Westbrook off the back of the jersey and put Johnson 0 on the back and say, here's his number, 17, 8, and 8, but he's making $47 million, I would like to know what every NBA player would think. Because if you take Westbrook off the back of that jersey and slap Johnson, does 17, 8, and 8 equate to 47 point whatever million? It absolutely does not.
It does not. And even though the numbers in a vacuum as a step back look okay, what were the final numbers?
17, 8, and 8, I think.
I thought he was up to 19. Did I get that?
It might have been.
19, 7, and 7. Anyway, the point is those numbers look okay, but to me, if you factor in all the negative numbers, he became the single worst consistent starter in the whole league last year. Because I remind everybody, he was the single worst three-point shooter in all of basketball at 29.8%. He couldn't even make 30% of his threes. He was the fourth worst free throw shooter. And for much of the year, he was the worst at turning the ball over.
Right.
And he only avoided leading the league in per game turnovers because he sat the last three.
Right.
So the point is, I've never seen anything like this in my life, because going into last year, everybody would have assumed that he was a slam dunk first ballot Hall of Famer. And then he makes the all-time top 75. And now I would like to recount those votes, because seriously, if you redid it, which they can't do because it was the 75th anniversary,
right.
so they're not going to re-rank
right.
every year.
Right.
But trust me, if you re-ranked that right now, there's no way he belongs in the top 75 all time, right? Mm-hmm. Just on bad hands alone. You agreed with me. We agreed together. It's the worst hands we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Remember the Shackton a fool on TNT?
Right.
Could we just see that just to remind everybody how bad this got at the end? I mean, we've had blooper tapes every day on this guy, but here's Shackton a fool. He's trying to Russ. Oh, God. And we had Westbrook turnover blooper reels and airball blooper reels that were so bad we put clown music underneath them because it worked. It was apropos. It was clownish. It was laughably bad.
Right.
So he goes from having the great Gotham Chopra do a documentary on his life and times that debuts as he arrives in L.A. just before the season starts, and all the Lakers go to one of the local West Side theaters here to watch it. I think fittingly, maybe it wouldn't play for a while. The projector broke. I don't know what happened.
Yes.
But anyway, I think they had to move to a different theater to watch it. But the point was, he did that. And then we watched the games, obviously, on the local Southern California feed, and every other commercial that was made before the year started is Russ. Russ is bank commercials and Hennessy commercials. Some of those are national commercials.
Yes.
Well, he was going to be the star of stars. He had realized his childhood dream, which turned into his worst nightmare. And the other thing about it is, it's LeBron's worst nightmare, because there was no way. LeBron, you can certainly make the case, had the greatest 19th season year anyone's ever had.
Yeah.
I don't even think that's even close.
Right,
because
it's not even debatable.
Because not many even played to year 19, let alone creep into the MVP conversation at mid-year.
Right.
He was making a case.
Right.
He was going to lead the league in scoring. And only down the stretch did he lose the lead there.
Right.
Okay? So, but even that, even playing, what did LeBron play? 55 games of LeBron, it wasn't enough to overcome this nightmare who was Russell Westbrook, because you can't. It's too many turnovers, too many air balls. It's psychologically too damaging to your momentum that you have to keep overcoming him night after night after night. And he is so headstrong. It's not like he's a great teammate, because in the end, he's a solo act to me.
Right.
And he was a great solo act as far as those 4 out of 5 years that he averaged a triple-double for the whole year. We thought we'd never see that before. But it doesn't impact W's and L's. It impacts L's, but not the W's, right?
Yeah, Skip, think about this. The two guys he was traded for, KCP and Kuzma, are in the tier. The guy the Lakers didn't want to pay, Alex Caruso, is also in that tier.
Yep.
All those guys together, that's 3 guys. All those guys, I mean, KCP is a defensive guy, can knock down the 3. Alex Caruso is scrappy, D, and even Kuz. You could have kept all those guys.
Could have. I think they're all better than Russ
and
right now, more valuable.
And I think this would be a package that would be more suitable to the Brooklyn Nets than Russ for Kyrie.
Okay. I completely agree. But now you're stuck.
We stuck.
With an untradeable asset
We stuck.
that will make $47 million.
Yeah.
And LeBron is stuck with I'm not going to call it a tarnish, but it's a blemish on his resume. It doesn't hurt his quote-unquote GOAT case, but he did push for this guy along with his co-star AD.
Right.
They pushed.
Yeah,
they
Skip.
recruited.
Skip, I mean, we've all done that. You know, you brought flowers and candy, went to the movies, went out. because we thought she was it. She was the one.
Okay.
And after 2 months of dating, we realized she wasn't the one. I can't take the flowers and the candy back in the movie and the nice dinners.
Okay, but
I made a mistake.
it's one thing to try to judge somebody who might be your soulmate.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Right?
LeBron thinking this was going to be my running mate. We going to run to a title. I'm thinking we going to run to the Maldives, live happily ever after, destination wedding.
Okay, but I always give LeBron credit. Highest IQ in basketball, and I
cut your
still
losses.
believe that.
He realized he cut his losses. That's what you do. You don't say, no.
It's hard for me to believe when you have the highest IQ as he does. How could you not see through that guy? How could you not see through the triple doubles and say, you know what?
Skip.
That is completely misleading, and I want no part of that.
I think even some of the greatest writers have had a punctuation or a misspelling.
I know, but this isn't a punctuation. You can correct those.
And then we can,
you can just read right through them.
Well, we guess exactly.
You can't read through him.
We try to correct it. We just go try to.